Now, we continue our special series on rethinking college. Tonight, we focus on so-called first-generation college goers. This year, 45% of freshmen at the University of California system are the first in their family to seek a four-year degree. Hari Srinivasan visited UCLA to see how campuses are responding to the challenge. It's part of our weekly series, Making the Grade.
I am a first-generation scholar. I was born and raised on the south side of Chicago.
Professor Lori Frazier-Yokely says her path to becoming the first tenured woman of color at UCLA's political science department has shaped who she is.
I'm a product of my mom, a high school education, and my dad, an 8th grade education.
And that's important to these students, who are themselves the first in their families to go to college.
So I want an opportunity to get
Frazier-Yokely is taking part in a new initiative from California's UC system that uses first-generation faculty to guide first-generation students.
So I'm teaching this class today because I want you guys to be okay with being the first. I want to be able to validate your concerns and your fears and your frustrations with being first generation because I've been there.
Last fall, university administrators asked 900 first-generation faculty and staff, like Frazier-Yokely, to become mentors. The goal is to decrease dropout rates. Nationally, only 40% of first-generation college students make it to graduation.
We want our first-generation students to thrive. We want them to feel like they belong here and that they're going to be here for 4 years through graduation.
University of California President Janet Napolitano.
Admissions are one thing, enrollment is one thing, but graduation is the thing.
But to succeed in a demanding academic environment like UCLA, the first-gen students have to overcome something called the imposter syndrome.
One of the definitions of imposter syndrome is students who worked really hard to get into campus, but they still are carrying with them like a sense that they don't truly belong, that at any moment someone's going to come and tap them on their shoulder and say, you know what, we made a mistake, right? For first-generation scholars who are carrying with them imposter syndrome, you are not allowing yourself to thrive. Something as fundamental as saying, hey, I deserve to go to office hours every week if I want to. I deserve to have someone sort of sit down with me during their office hours and I can ask questions, right? One-on-one. I deserve that opportunity.
UCLA senior Violet Salazar knows what imposter syndrome feels like. Salazar helped create an entire dorm floor dedicated to incoming first-generation students after her own freshman experience proved difficult.
It was kind of hard to get to know people when you always felt like you were, I guess, lesser than them.
Because you're the first.
Because I am first gen or because I am Latina. And also just coming from a very low socioeconomic background.
These are some On the day we visited, the first-generation dorm hosted a meeting led by student Clara Wynn, a first-gen student herself who also works with UCLA's mental health resources.
How do you practice resilience as a first-generation student?
It's really easy to get caught up in your failures, I feel like, in college, because it's really important to be resilient, to keep in mind that it's okay and you can recover.
So thoughts are the way that you think about things, like, oh man, I think I'm gonna do bad on this test. Or if I start getting nervous, like my heart starts beating really fast or I start sweating, that's kind of a physical symptom. And then that might affect how I behave. What's an example of how your thoughts, behaviors, and physical symptoms kind of come together?
You first think oh my God, I didn't study enough, I'm a fail, blah, blah, blah. And then it's I start sweating a lot and my palms are sweating that I can't even hold still the pencil. And then I actually start forgetting things and I'm I studied this, what's going on? And then I forget things and then I actually fail.
One of the techniques that we use to combat that cycle is called mindfulness. But being mindful is basically toning into those thoughts that you have and trying to control that environment around you. I wanted her to notice physical symptoms like the hands sweating to kind of manage your thoughts better and say, hey, I'm not unprepared for this test. I have the skills to do it. Then maybe she can try to tell her body to calm down. And then those things will start coming back in her brain.
Many first-generation students are also balancing the guilt of not contributing to their family's income when they're away at school.
You might have a financial struggle, so you should go to work. Or you have siblings, so you need to take care of them before you get to do school. I think those things are hard to let go of when you get here.
And for some, there's the added stress of immigration status. Freshman Jacqueline Tafoya, who is a U.S. citizen, worries that in the current political climate, friends from her home community could be suddenly deported.
And there are millions of families that are struggling, whether it's, having that scary moment where you never know if your family member is going to get deported, or you never know that there can be a moment in your life where one day you're happy with your family sitting at dinner, and the next day your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, you find out you're getting deported. There's like that moment where that can happen. So it's very scary. Sorry.
University administrators hope their new focus on mentoring first-generation students will help both students and their families succeed.
We know that our first-gen students, within just a few years of graduating, are making more than their entire families. We also know that they're tremendous contributors to the state of California, to the economy of California. And it's what higher education is there for, particularly public higher education, is to open those doors of opportunity and to really give meaning to the cliche phrase, the American dream.
In Los Angeles, I'm Hari Srinivasan for the PBS NewsHour.